Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far. Welcome to week 3 of the Taper Caper. This week is off to kind of a rough start because I haven't been doing anything yet, but it's only Tuesday. You know what? We have time to turn this around. Anyway, we're just reading through manuscript right now. I only have to show up for 3 days this week. I'm going to try and do more than that, but I only have to do 3, which is probably good, considering how this week is going so far. But anyway, yeah. Just reading and taking notes for edits and where the story is weak, which is a lot of different places. Yeah, I'm only in chapter 3 so far. The reading is much slower than I anticipated that it would be, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep going and see how far we can get in November, I guess. I was able to meet with my critique partner today. We have not been able to do that since June, I think. Maybe July. Summer for sure. So that was really nice to touch base and have some external accountability for the reading that I'm doing right now. Yeah, we're gonna see how far we can read today and go from there. I read another chapter. 14 pages. We're up to chapter 5, you guys. 14 pages. I'm gonna have to cut these chapters up, which might help with the, making it more fast-paced, if I make the chapters shorter, and then I can focus the scenes in the shorter chapters, to really, zero in on the tension and the emotional trauma and whatever. That might be useful. But anyway, I am going to have to make them shorter, because on Google Docs where I write, once I take the document and I move it to Word and then format it for my stories, usually the chapters double in size. So if it's 14 pages on Google Docs, then it's going to be 28 pages in formatted Word. Which is way too big. I don't like to go bigger than 10 to 15 pages. And in a story like this, I think I want them to be much shorter, 5 to 10 pages. Because Isolation was so fast-paced, and I know Cindy's storytelling is different than Cassie's, but I do want to try to keep this story as engaging as Isolation is. So I think chopping the chapters and really focusing the scenes with pacing, I think that will help. Anyway, 3 more chapters on this document, and then I'll go over to the first draft hybrid and read from there. Technically, I only need 1 more day this week, because it's the 3-day week, but I'm going to try and get at least 2, maybe shoot for all 3. We'll see. Next week is Thanksgiving, so I might only do the 2 required days, and then just be focused on family and Thanksgiving shenanigans. But I am going to try and get these 3 days, if I can manage it. Because the reading's going much slower than I anticipated. I'm only doing about a chapter a day. So yeah, I'd like to read as many days as possible, since I have 25 chapters to read. Hello, it's Friday. I just finished reading another chapter. So I'm 5 chapters in, which means I have 2 more in the 2.0 document of the things that I was sending to my critique partner. And then I'm going to go read the actual first draft hybrid thing. It's still feeling kind of slow and borderline boring, which is a problem. So I have a lot of ideas swirling about what to do and what to change and what to cut. I don't know. I think after I finish reading the first draft hybrid thing, I'm gonna start a 3.0 document. I'm not gonna keep going with what I was sending to my critique partner. I think I'm gonna start fresh with the edits and revisions, because I do think I'm gonna have to really revamp these first 7 chapters here, so that it's not boring. There's a lot going on here. There's, you know, good stuff happening. It's a lot of, like, setup and, like, getting the characters to where they need to be for the story. And I don't want to jump straight to where they need to be for the story, because that's a very dramatic jump. That is, like, months apart from, like, the escape at the end of Isolation to jumping all the way to, like, the girls are totally fine. Checking in, they're here now. Versus, like, I do start the story shortly after said escape, and they're still dealing with the aftermath and the wounds and whatever, which I prefer. But I think going from that opening scene / chapter and then getting all the way to chapter 6 where things start actually happening, yeah, I think all of that travel in the interim needs help. So we're gonna start over and play with it. But not yet, because I still have to read all the way to the end of the story. But that's what I'm thinking right now. I don't think that I'm gonna do any reading, mind you. I don't think I'm gonna do any reading tomorrow. I did want to do more than just the 3 days of the Taper Caper this week, but my tomorrow is fairly booked, and then I'm going to the farm for Thanksgiving break, and then it's a new week for the Taper Caper. That only requires 2 days, which is probably a good thing, because I'll be with family and not really focused on other things. The point being, I don't think I'm going to get a 4th day in, so... Hi, Fury. I think this is the end, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think I filmed much at all this week, but I think this is the end.